Haynes for the specific location of the inertia switch in your vehicle. Another method on many vehicles is to locate the fuel system pressure regulator, disconnect the vacuum hose leading to it, and connect a hand vacuum pump. Apply 25 inches of vacuum to the regulator, and it will relieve the system pressure through the return line of the gas tank. Certain vehicles with Bosch-type fuel injection will require you to remove the gas cap, disconnect the electrical connector from an injector nozzle, ground one terminal of the nozzle with a jumper lead, and with another jumper lead, run battery power to the other terminal of the injector nozzle. Touch the terminal several times to relieve system pressure. Do not, however, hold the positive lead onto the nozzle for more than 2 seconds at a time, as damage to the windings inside the nozzle could result. After fuel system pressure has been relieved in your vehicle, disconnect the negative battery cable before working on the fuel system. For vehicles not shown, refer to a service manual such as a Haynes to find the proper procedure for relieving fuel pressure. Once the residual fuel pressure has been relieved, remove the air cleaner housing to gain access to the fuel injector. Remove the electrical connector from the injector. Next, remove the fuel injector retainer. On General Motors vehicles, remove the 5 fuel meter cover attaching screws and lock washers. Remove the fuel meter cover from the injector. Do not remove the fuel meter cover assembly gasket at this time, as it will help protect the casting during injector removal. On vehicles equipped with Bosch injectors, remove the torque screw and injector cap. Carefully pry the injector from the fuel meter body using a screwdriver until the injector can be lifted out. A second screwdriver may be helpful when prying the injector out. Remove the old gasket from the fuel meter cover if so equipped, and discard. If the lower O-ring is not on the old injector, be sure to retrieve it from the throttle body. Before installing the new injector, lubricate the small O-ring with clean engine oil and push onto the nozzle end of the new injector until it presses against the injector fuel filter. Next, lubricate the large O-ring, if so equipped, with clean engine oil and install the fuel injector as shown. Install the new injector into the fuel meter body, aligning the raised lug on the injector base with the cast-in notch on the fuel meter body. Push straight down on the injector with both thumbs until it is fully seated in the cavity. Install the fuel meter cover to the fuel meter body. Be sure to install new gaskets during the replacement. On vehicles equipped with a Bosch injector, place the injector cap onto the injector. The keyway on the injector cap must be aligned properly. Rotate the cap and the injector to line up the attachment hole. Install and tighten the screws to the torque specifications listed in a service manual. Reconnect the electrical connector to the new injector. Reconnect the negative battery cable, and rearm the fuel pump system by reinstalling the fuel pump fuse, resetting the inertia switch, or reconnect any electrical connectors removed earlier. Turn the key to the run position and check the new injector for fuel leaks. Allow extra time to fill empty fuel lines. If a fuel leak is observed, immediately turn the key off and correct the problem. Reinstall the air cleaner housing if removed earlier. Start the engine and test drive the vehicle for proper engine operation.
Now let's briefly recap the steps necessary to replace a throttle body injector. The first step is to relieve the residual pressure from the fuel system. Remove the air cleaner housing. Disconnect the electrical connector from the injector. Remove the fuel injector retainer or cover. With 2 screwdrivers, gently pry the injector from the housing. Remove and discard the old gasket. Make sure the lower O-ring is removed along with the injector. Lubricate the new O-rings on the new injector with fresh motor oil. Align the raised lug on the injector with the cast-in notch on the housing and push straight down with both thumbs until the injector is fully seated in the cavity. Install the new cover gasket and cap onto the injector. Install and tighten any screws. Reconnect the electrical connector. Reconnect the negative battery cable and rearm the fuel system. Turn the key to the run position and check for fuel leaks. Reinstall the air cleaner housing and test drive the vehicle for proper engine operation.
To diagnose faulty multi-port fuel injectors, the tools you will need include a fuel pressure test kit capable of reading high fuel pressures, a stethoscope, a test light or Noid light, a digital ohm meter, some shop towels, safety glasses, and a service manual such as a Haynes for your particular vehicle. Symptoms relating to faulty injectors include stalling and rough idle, engine stumbles, poor performance in economy, or a hard starting hot condition. These symptoms can be due to injectors that become partially clogged and deliver an uneven fuel mixture, electrical problems in the wiring, a failing solenoid inside the injector, or an injector that leaks fuel after engine shutdown. Multi-port fuel injectors differ from a throttle body injector in that each cylinder on a multi-port system is equipped with a fuel injector. A multi-port fuel injector actually sprays fuel directly into the intake manifold near the intake valve. As a result, testing multi-port fuel injection systems differ from testing a throttle body injector. A no-start condition is usually not a problem with the fuel injectors themselves. If a no-start is the problem with your vehicle, we suggest checking the ignition system and fuel supply system first. Our Car Care Seminar videotape, Electronic Ignition Troubleshooting, will assist you in diagnosing ignition system problems. If your engine idles extremely rough or isn't running on all of the cylinders and you suspect a faulty fuel injector, you can test the resistance in the windings of each injector with an ohm meter. First, remove the electrical connector from one of the injectors. Connect the leads from your ohm meter to the electrical terminals of the injector. Set your meter to the lowest ohm scale and record your reading. Most injectors fall between 2 and 16 ohms of resistance. Each type of injection system will have specific ohmic values for the internal resistance of the windings in the nozzles, so refer to a service manual for the specific ohmic values on your system. If the readings do not meet specifications, replace the injector. Test each injector on the engine to verify proper resistance. If one or more test bad, we suggest replacing all of them as a set for peak engine performance. If you are experiencing slightly rough idle and engine stalling, or poor performance and engine stumbles from your vehicle, it could be a sign of injectors that are becoming clogged. Here we see an example of what the spray pattern from a partially clogged injector nozzle looks like. The fuel is not being properly atomized with the air, which is necessary for peak performance. And here we see the fuel spray pattern from a properly operating injector nozzle. As you can see, there's a dramatic difference. It is, however, almost impossible to examine the fuel spray pattern from multi-port fuel injectors as commonly practiced on throttle body injection systems. One method to check for partially clogged injectors is to listen to each injector using a stethoscope while the engine is running. As you touch each injector with the stethoscope, you should be able to hear the injector open and close rapidly. The sound of a good injector is crisp and metallic. An injector that is clogged with deposits will produce a dull and muffled sound. If this is noticed, cleaning the fuel injectors may remedy the problem. There are many fuel injector cleaners that may be used to combat injector clogging. We suggest using a gas tank additive fuel injector cleaner to help combat deposits every 2,000 to 3,000 miles or once a month. To clean injectors that are severely clogged, we suggest having them professionally cleaned in a service center by a qualified technician. If you find that one of the injectors doesn't make any noise at all, it may be the injector or something in the electrical system. To eliminate the possibility of a faulty injector, first shut the engine off and unplug the injector electrical harness connection. Attach a test or Noid light to the electrical connector. Crank the engine. The light should flash on and